Coming up on the second hour of American Sunrise, a major diplomatic victory for President Trump. Israel, Hamas agreeing to the first phase of the president's peace plan in the region. The president plans to leave this weekend to visit the Middle East as the hostages are set to be released as well. We're going to have the latest from the White House. Plus, still shut down. Democrats continue to keep the government closed, but pressure is mounting as the deadline to pay military service members quickly approaches. And justice, karma, or both? An amazing turn of events for New York Attorney General Letitia James, indicted by a federal grand jury on bank fraud charges. The same prosecutor who went after President Trump now facing serious legal trouble of her own. Second hour of American Sunrise starting on a Friday right now. Good morning, America.
Welcome to American Sunrise.
Whether it's culture,
we have breaking news to share with you.
Politics.
President Trump is joining us live now from Florida.
We've got you covered.
This is what it looks like to be a patriot.
We have to protect the American family.
The American dream is still alive.
I'm David Brody.
I'm Terrence.
And I'm Dr. Gina.
Welcome back, everybody, to the second hour of American Sunrise on a Friday. TGIF, all caps. I'm David Brody coming to you from D.C. Let's bring in Dr. G in West Palm. T. Bates in our Denver newsroom. Good morning, guys. I was thinking about this Israel-Hamas phase one situation. And we really got to this point. There are a lot of reasons why we got here. But what I love, Gina, about what Trump did, and when I say Trump, we're talking also about Jared Kushner and Steve Witkoff and all these guys, and David Friedman, the U.S. ambassador to Israel back in Trump 1, with the Abraham Accords. What they did was remarkable because, so like the whole world hates Israel, okay, right? I got it. The UN, they're a bunch of bozos over there. But what Kushner and these guys did was remarkable because they said, hey, you know what? Forget the world. We need Turkey. We need Qatar. We need Saudi Arabia. We need Egypt. We need some of these key players. So you can hate on Israel all you want, but if we get buy-in from 4 or 5 key countries in the Middle East, that's game, set, match. And they're doing it. And it's amazing.
Really is amazing. I mean, it's the quintessential, as you said earlier in the show, peace through strength. And this is proof once and for all that works. And I hope that presidents for generations, forever, will remember that this is what works. And also, I think you have to go back to the historic fact that unless America is strong, no place in the world is safe. And the rest of the world really needs to catch on to that basic historic truth. And Americans, starting with Americans, need to start teaching in schools again that if you really are a humanitarian, if you really do care about world peace, the thing you need to know the most is that America needs a strong president, a strong military, and a strong sense of patriotism, T.
Yeah, President Trump definitely has shown that peace through strength does work. But excuse me for being a pessimist, and this has nothing to do with President Trump. It has everything to do with Hamas. While I am cautiously optimistic that Hamas will follow through with releasing the hostages until I see it, until I see them cross the border, get in a van, and be whisked away back home to Israel, I'm going to hold my applause. I'm just so cautiously optimistic, David, because let's just be honest. Right now, those hostages are the only leverage Hamas has. And I'm just not so sure they're going to that easily give up their leverage. Right. After that, I think it really is game, set, match. That's just my opinion. Go ahead, Dr. Gina, you were going to say.
Yeah, I mean, if they're releasing the hostages first, then I guess they still have the bodies of the dead hostages that those families want home as well. That's some degree of leverage. And I hate to say it, but they have their horrible activities that they tend to engage in as leverage as well. So I'm hoping. I just don't think President Trump would be out there talking about this like he is unless he were particularly confident. David, I'm curious your take.
Well, let me just say this. Hamas is playing the long game here, okay? And the game is this. We give back the hostages, but guess what we're getting back? We're getting all these comrades in arms, right? The horrible people in the Israeli jails. So they're coming back into the fold. So it's kind of like, okay, we'll put them in the minor leagues and we'll get them to the major leagues here in about 3-5 years, whatever it is, and we'll refuel and rearm. Remember, they're supposed to lay down their arms. Okay, we'll see if that even happens. But they're also getting free passage out of out of Gaza. So they're going to rearm. I mean, this is just temporary. I mean, unless you can get the buy-in from the Arab nations all the way through in terms of the governance of Gaza, we'll see. But I tell you what, all they're doing is biding their time. That's all they're doing here.
Okay, all fair points. Guys, we're going to be talking about this, not just throughout the rest of this show. We'll be talking about this for months, maybe even years to come. In the meantime, President Trump headed over to Walter Reed National Military Medical Center later this morning for what the White House is calling a routine annual exam. It's the 79-year-old's second physical of this year.
I'm in great shape, but I'll let you know. But I have no difficulty thus far. Is there wood around here? Knock on. No difficulty. Physically, I feel very good. Mentally, I feel very good.
Mr. Trump will also address military personnel during his visit to Walter Reed today. Following the medical checkup, both the president and the first lady have separate announcements scheduled at the White House. We're working our sources right now to try to get a heads up about what those announcements might entail. The commander-in-chief's physical comes as he says he is making plans to travel to the Middle East to sign off on the peace deal between Israel and Hamas. 47 could make that trip as soon as this weekend, potentially even as soon as Sunday, in advance of the release of the hostages held by the Palestinian terror group Monday or Tuesday. Meantime, the ceasefire should be in effect as we speak. Just this morning, Israel's cabinet approved the Trump-brokered plan. New reports this morning say that according to the agreement, the ceasefire should begin immediately now that it's approved at the highest levels of the Israeli government. The first step in the first phase of the deal will be for Hamas to hand over the remaining Israeli hostages who were taken on October 7th, 2 years ago. About 20 of the 47 people being held are believed to still be alive. In all, Hamas kidnapped 251 men, women, and children on that fateful day. New York Attorney General Letitia James is on the wrong side of the law this morning after being indicted on mortgage fraud charges. A grand jury found there is enough evidence for prosecutors to pursue 2 felony charges against James, one for making false statements to a financial institution, the second for bank fraud. She's expected in federal court in Norfolk, Virginia, where the case is being brought on October 24th. James is accusing President Trump of weaponizing the justice system against her. Her lawyer says, and I'm quoting here, "We are deeply concerned that this case is driven by President Trump's desire for revenge." You may remember, James won a lawsuit against the president claiming that he falsely stated the values of his real estate holdings in order to gain better rates on things like insurance. The president was ordered to pay $355 million in penalties. That's a quick check of your headlines. Now let's get a quick check of your forecast with meteorologist Tracy Anthony. Tracy, good morning.
Hey, good morning. Want to talk about the big stories as we head into the weekend. We're going to be tracking a coastal low across the East Coast. And as this low kind of scoots up the coast, it's going to bring heavy rain for areas right along the coast, kind of right along that I-95 corridor with a sharp cutoff inland. It's also going to have strong gusty winds, high surf, and coastal flooding possible. Now, this system is expected to remain non-tropical, but still going to have big impacts. Now, we're also tracking a good amount of moisture out across the southwest. Very abnormal for this time of year. We're talking 300% of the normal moisture available in the environment, and that's going to lead to flash flooding very quickly in this drought-stricken area. So we're talking rainfall rates 1 to 2 inches per hour. That's almost tropical rainfall rates for the desert southwest. So, Terrence, we have some big major weather stories this weekend.
All right, Tracy, thank you so much for the report, and a great weekend to you, Tracy. We'll talk to you next week.
You as well.
Thank you, ma'am. All right, let's get you over to David Brody. David, in advance of whatever you're going to do, thank you as well.
Well, thank you, T. Bates. We're so nice on this show. All right, let's get more on the Israel-Hamas situation from the White House. Let's go straight there. Enough pussyfooting around. That's an old word. We've got Brian Glenn at the White House. Brian, good to see you this morning. What do you know? What's going down? When's President Trump leaving? I've got lots of questions. No, I don't really have any questions. I just want to talk more. What's up?
Yeah. Hey, what's going on? Good morning. I don't, unfortunately, have all the answers to your questions. Let's start with when will President Trump make his way over there? As of a few minutes ago, I could not get a confirmation on what that day would be. Speculation is on Sunday, possibly in Monday morning, but we have not got clarification on that. But what we can clarify is that first stage of this is complete. Witkoff announcing that the first phase of the Israeli troop withdrawal is complete. So you've got thousands of people going back to what they would hope would be their home would still be standing. I was just reading an article a few minutes ago about some of the Palestinians going back and being surprised that their home was still standing. But you're going to see that ceasefire there. You're going to basically see some Israeli troops in an area to secure, to make sure there is no Hamas, I guess, people, some extremities still out in that area to secure the return of everyone back to their homes. But it's underway. And so it's one of those things where we saw the Nobel Peace Prize earlier was announced, and everybody was completely shocked, as I was. But we need to be reminded that President Trump is doing this, and he did this because he wants to see this war end. It was not to get a Nobel Peace Prize, even though I think he deserves it. But he genuinely wants to end this conflict, David, and you and I have been talking about this for 8 months now. Peace in this region of the world is a necessity to all of us. And we're so very thankful that that's happening right now. But we'll find out how these next phases unfold here in the next coming days.
Yep.
Hey, Brian, to your point, yeah, he may not be getting, and when I say he, President Trump may not be getting the recognition from the Nobel Committee, but he's definitely getting recognition from the other side of the aisle. Washington Post columnist David Ignatius on MSNBC yesterday basically praising the president for this Israel-Hamas peace deal.
The deal that President Trump is announcing played a key part in negotiating is a significant change. This war was blocked for 2 years. President Biden, who preceded him, was unable to find a way to stop it. President Trump found that way by being tough on both sides, and he'll take a victory lap for sure over the next few days. But it's deserved. There's no way that I can see that this would have been done without Trump's pressure in the final hours.
Brian, I asked a similar question of another one of our guests earlier. While the deal itself is seen wide and far as a victory, is it still going to be a victory if Hamas reneges? And that question is somewhat of a loaded question for me, just because I don't trust Hamas. And I think anybody with any common sense doesn't necessarily trust Hamas.
Yeah, I don't think any of us trust Hamas, and that's a great way to put it. But, you know, it's at least something that, and I think that's one of the reasons why the Israeli forces is going to remain on guard to make sure that some of these lone wolves don't, erupt. Now, I did see Mike Huckabee say earlier that no U.S. troops would be on the ground there. They will provide some backup in a certain extent, but not physically on the ground, which I think is a good thing, because you and I both know all it would take would be one crazy person to injure or, God forbid, kill a U.S. soldier, and then that erupts into a completely different conversation. But I like to see that he is getting praise for this, and across all legacy media. I watched another montage this morning of just various shows praising President Trump for doing this. So it's a good thing that it's happened. I'm glad the media is recognizing it. But once again, I think that President Trump, come this time next year, will get that Nobel Peace Prize, because the deadline was January 31st, although they said they made the decision on Monday. They could have very well done that. I understand that. But I think he's a shoo-in, definitely, for this time next year.
Yeah, I'm glad you pointed out January 31st. That's important to understand. So, Brian, great to have you here. Have a great weekend. We appreciate you as always.
Thanks, Brian.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
All right, coming up, a day of truth, action, and resolve. A look at the upcoming boot camp for Patriots. We're going to show you how you can get involved. That is next on American Sunrise.